We have a big Parshat coming up this week, Matot Masei, and there's an interesting story about the grandson of the first Ger Rebbe. He was called the Sfas Emes. So one night he was learning all the way through the night with his chavrusa, and he fell asleep right before Shachar. He woke up, he was a few minutes late. He comes to shul, and his grandfather, who raised him because his father died when he was very young, he starts parading him in front of everybody how he needs to show up to Shachar on time. And he just sits there silently, and the grandfather keeps going and going, how it's a Chilul Hashem and everything. And the grandfather walks away, and the chavrusa says to him, why didn't you say anything and tell him that you were learning all night and that's why you were late? And he says, because when you have a chance to hear Musar from somebody who's a great man like my grandfather, you got to take it. Take that opportunity. I don't like the story, actually, because I think he could have gotten a lot more out of telling the grandfather that the grandson was learning all night. But the thread, though, in the story is the humility that the Sfas Emes had, whether it's because he wanted to listen to Musar, because he was embarrassed and didn't want to embarrass his grandfather. It is a sense of humility. And so there's a pasuk, a section in the Parshat that's describing the 6 cities that you set up for somebody in the case of accidental murder. And what's interesting, it says you should not bring guilt upon, if somebody commits not murder, but they kill somebody, manslaughter, it says, you shall not bring guilt upon the land in which you are, for the blood will bring guilt upon the land. The land itself is connected to the murder. How could killing somebody have any connection to the land? And the idea is that when we were created, humanity, it says God took from the dust of the earth and blew into it the neshama. So really, and I was thinking of you actually in this case, both of you, is that you're now coming to shul for the first time after the Avelut, but the idea is that it was for your mother, and there's the mother from the human side, which is like the Sfas Emes and his grandfather, but the mother is also the land in a certain sense. So if there was ever a parsha that connected to like being sensitive to nature, this is the one. So let's have a good week ahead of us, and Neshama should have another. Rabbi Yochanan ben Akasha Amar Batzah Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakad Yisrael L'Fiach L'Yirba L'Hem Torah Mitzvah Shneimar V'Nai Chapetz Matzita Ygadil Rabbi Yadir.